Government contractors, these beautiful, just compelling, sexy creatures. And yet most Americans aren't even aware of their existence. Listen, you know when government does some kind of big program, do you realize all that work is carried out by private organizations? It's not government employees doing it. That's why there's a man by the name of Robert Woodson. He established the Woodson Center. He's an elderly African-American man now, but he worked with Martin Luther King back in the 60s and was a part of all that war on poverty where they established all those social programs under LBJ. But he left the movement and became a conservative. One of the big reasons why was he said he discovered that about 70% of the money that was to go to those who needed it the most went to private government contractors. And even worse, in this system, the contractors have no incentive to solve problems. It's just perpetuated because they keep getting the money. I'm not saying they're bad or immoral. It's just a system that is not effective in solving problems. Listen, let me shock you with some numbers. There are 4.1 million government contractors in this nation, and over 100 of those are in the billions of dollars in annual contracts. Man, talking about living off the taxpayer tit, there it is. And you know some of them, Haliburton, they were, the left went crazy when they got the contracts to help build Iraq after the war. And of course, Dick Cheney, that was his company. Or even Obamacare. People were all in on that. And one of my big problems with that was the fact that it was going to be carried out by private insurance companies, all the big ones, the ones that we all hate. And that's why on the stock market, their stock prices just rose dramatically after Obamacare passed in 2010 because they made billions off of us. Hey, illegal immigration down the border. I know that when those people come across the border illegally, Democrats would say, oh, those are doctors, lawyers, computer programmers, engineers, and they're just going to explode the economy once they get settled in a job. No, they're not. They're poor people, poverty-stricken, don't have enough money or food for their next meal. They don't come together as families. Most of the kids have no parents with them. And listen, when they come across the border, it is not, employees from the local DMV or, the post office coming down to help them out. It's private contractors who give them places to live, give them health care, give them food, get them set up. And they have no incentive to solve the problem. Listen, here at the University of Billy, all about genius ideas. Listen, we have to take all of that away from Washington, D.C. and put it back into local control. That's the genius answer. Listen, Medicare is the one government program that is famous for the amount of fraud. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars every year stolen from taxpayers. It's just too big and cumbersome. Can you imagine a local hospital, some doctor that is taking Medicare patients and he's charging for services that he didn't do? How long would that last locally? Oh, about a day or two, right? No. Local control, that is the key. We need to take the government contractors off the taxpayer tit.